It's Monday night. Oh, yes, it is. Ridiculously Raw. Hello, friends. It's the Ridiculously Over Gentleman, Anthony Florio, here with you for another exciting edition of Ridiculously Raw. And I do mean exciting. Another very good Monday Night Raw here tonight. Really looking forward to breaking it all down with my elite panel. Good old MF Michael Fletcher from the Cerebral Smack Talk. We got the Phenom, Michael Bullock. And we also have the Twisted Angel and First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, Dee Woodson. So with all that being said, let's dive right on in, folks. Monday Night Raw live tonight from the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. And we started it off with an in-ring segment. We had Roman Reigns in the ring, cutting a promo. And then all of a sudden an ambulance pulls in. We thought Braun Strowman was going to be in the back of it. He wasn't. Roman opened up, but then Braun Strowman out of nowhere attacks Roman Reigns and basically beats the snot out of him. Hot start to the show. The LA crowd, yes, tougher than many on Reigns, which makes for a wonderful atmosphere. Strowman tossing Reigns into the side of the ambulance was great. I'm surprised they showed Strowman throwing Roman inside easily. To see if this is turned into a number one contenders match, or if Roman Reigns simply gets the SummerSlam Universal title shot because he said so. Oh, and it's his yard. So what else is there to say? This was a hot start to the show. A hot start to what was ultimately a hot show. So, good old MF Michael Fletcher, let's get you on in here. Braun Strowman coming back. We knew he was going to be back 4 months ahead of what he was originally scheduled to be out for 6. He came back 4 months early. It's like he never left, man. He just beat the snot out of Roman again. Awesome.
Yeah, he did. It was a great way to start the show, and no doubt about it. My concern is you're beating up Roman Reigns too many times. Is this booking 101 where Roman gets the advantage and, more importantly, the win at Great Balls of Fire? Is this Roman's ultimate moment? And that's the one concern I would have. If you're a WWE fan or an IWC fan, because Braun Strowman's looked great. He's been dominating. He's been the baddest dude around. But you know and I know is booking 101 when you get dominant, that strong, that powerful, that doesn't necessarily mean victory or success down the line on a pay-per-view event. Think about all the stuff that's happened in the past, the mind games, everything that has happened. But when the big moment arrives, Roman Reigns, more times than not, has been able to deliver in the clutch. He did it at WrestleMania, beating The Undertaker, which I know still steams Michael Bullock to this moment. And then look at all the other moments, from winning the title from Triple H at WrestleMania 32, even though getting booed by over 100,000 at the AT&T Center or AT&T Stadium in Arlington. I mean, Roman Reigns has been, right now, he is the poster child for WWE. He is that guy that they're trying to cater around, being the heir apparent to John Cena. Because everybody knows John Cena was the man, and now Roman's trying to be that level, or they're trying to make Roman the corporate guy, where the rest of the IWC, they don't want him. Enough, that's a discussion for another night. But Braun Strowman has really become a monster among men. What he's been doing lately has already accelerated his push, his desire to become a universal champion. And in my mind, we were talking about maybe he's probably a year away. No. I think the time is now for Braun Strowman. Excuse me. If anything, you want yourself to have that kind of guy to be there at the end. And normally Vince McMahon, his formula has always been, you go with the monsters. You go with the big men. You go with guys who are basically stronger, better, tougher men, almost, I can say it, Herculean-like guys. I don't want to say the other thing because I don't want to tick off D.D. Woodson tonight. I was going to say something else, but I'd rather not. So when you get a guy who is Herculean-like, that irresistible force, a movable object type individual, that's normally the blueprint that you get when you got guys like Batista. You had guys who are, kind of that mold, and that's what you want in a champion. Triple H, you had these, barbaric type guys. So I'm going to be real honest. If this was Vince McMahon's call, and I understand that, yes, as much as he loves Roman Reigns, but normally, if you want to talk about that prototypical type that Vince would back as your champion, like a la a Brock Lesnar, it has to be Braun Strowman. Strowman fits that bill. But look at all the times that ever since he's gotten back, how many times has Roman really got the advantage of Braun? None. Braun already 2 weeks in a row has jacked up Roman Reigns, and even tonight, with the greatest of ease, threw his butt into the ambulance and locked the door on him with no problema whatsoever. If you are booking this one-on-one, you're thinking Roman's going to find a way to win it, and it's going to be some kind of thing like that. But if you're the WWE, because like you said, if this is supposed to be, because they haven't even officially announced it, if this was like a number one contenders or the next guy who wins fights for SummerSlam. But are you kidding me right now? If I had to say in it, if Anthony had to say in it, if Bullock or D.D. Woodson had to say in this, Roman would be the number one contender for the Universal Championship, not Roman Reigns. And I think everybody in the IWC would probably agree with all four of us right now about it too. Unbelievable start, but I'm concerned about the end game. I like what I'm watching. I like what I see. But I got this stinking feeling something is Roman's going to win it. I got that feeling Roman will win the ambulance fight just to solidify himself as the number one contender. But honestly, if I had the heart of hearts, this is Braun's moment. He should be in Brooklyn at the Barclays fighting for the title. Roman, you'll get your opportunity. But right now, the hottest guy in WWE is not you. Your yard is being taken over by a monster among men. Michael Bullock, hit me with that roar one time.
Roar!
It is all yours, my friend.
All right, thank you very much, Cerebral Viper, Michael Fletcher. Yes, this is the Phenom Mike Bullock here for another edition of Ridiculously Raw. Yeah, I really enjoyed this opening segment. Of course, Roman Reigns getting that heat and talking about being attacked by the returning Braun Strowman, and then basically you hear an ambulance, and then Roman's got that feeling of, all right, Braun Strowman is back there, and then all of a sudden, he opens it and no one's there, and then here comes Braun Strowman from behind and basically beats the snot out of Roman Reigns and basically throws him in the ambulance. And I agree with everything Fletcher just said. I mean, I'm a little concerned about this match now because with the way Strowman's been beating the crap out of Roman Reigns. I mean, if this continues, the booking 101 says Roman Reigns is going to go over. That's the only thing that concerns me. But to me, this is Braun Strowman's time. I mean, he's been the hottest hand in WWE. Well, maybe on Monday Night Raw, but I mean, he's basically dominated everybody. And to me, he's the one that should get a shot at Brock Lesnar and the Universal title at SummerSlam, not Roman Reigns. I mean, Roman Reigns will have his time, but to me, it's Braun Strowman's time. To me, he should be the one that should be winning this ambulance match if I was booking it. But I just get this bad feeling Roman Reigns is probably going to win it. But like I said, if I was running things, and if Florio was running things, and Fletcher was, and same for Dee Woodson, we all would say Braun Strowman deserves to go over. So, yeah, so this was definitely a really good way to start off the show. So, come on in. Give us your thoughts on this opening segment.
Yeah, it was a good opening segment. Liked how Reigns was addressing, the loss to Joe and everything, and that he accepted the match before the ambulance came out and Braun tossing him around and everything. It seems like, a continuing thing with Braun trying to go around beating the crap out of him every week. So I guess that's their thing. So we'll just have to see what happens here with the pay-per-view match. I'm not going to speculate too much on it right now because we still have a couple of weeks for them to try to build the storyline up even more. So enough said. Let's go on.
And we kick off the match portion of the evening with the first of 2 6-man tag team matches. In this first one, we had the Drifter, Elias Sampson, along with the Raw Tag Team Champion, Sheamus and Cesaro. And they squared off against Finn Balor and the Hardy Boys, or as we call them, the Broken Hardys. The winners of the match in 17.5 minutes, Finn Balor and the Hardy Boys, they win the match. Finn Balor with a coup de grace on Cesaro, or as our friend Luigi PS3 likes to call it, the coup de grace. You know how much I love when she does that. So it'll be interesting to see.
Oh my gosh.
It'll be interesting to see if she called it the coup de grace. When we see her reaction videos a little later.
She probably
on.
will call it coup de grace.
I get this bad feeling she will as well.
Because if you see her videos, Lucy PS3, our friend on here on YouTube, she's unbelievable, and she butchers.
She's a sweetheart.
Yeah, she certainly is.
She's a sweetheart.
Yeah, coup de grace. She calls it the coup de grace, and I always get a kick out of it. But anyways, coup de grace, coup de grace, doesn't matter what you call it. Finn Balor and the Hardys, they win the match, 17.5 minutes. Green beans for everyone. Brother MF, let's start it off with you.
Yes, indeed. Should I do it? Should I do it, guys? Should I pull it? The song?
Do it.
You want me?
Florio?
Yeah. Brother Florio?
Let's do it, Brother Fletcher.
Do it? Well, I don't, because this was a Balor win, but he was with the Hardys, so.
They technically won.
Get away and classify themselves as obsolete.
Obsolete. Yes.
I was debating if I should do it or not, but because the Hardys were in it, I'll give the benefit of the doubt and give the Hardys the dupe on that one. But I will say this: good match. I mean, solid fight. I loved it. Mad about it. Great chain wrestling, great action. Yeah, normally 6 men, you kind of get a little nervous because there's so much action going around. But it really felt like a good flow pace. It didn't feel like there was any clunky moments. Okay, a commercial in there that kind of will cut the legs out from under you. But what's the one thing that we always say about it? As long as the match itself from break, it feels like it never lost its flow, then we will give it the love and the support and the high rating that it deserves. And this one deserves a good rating. 3 to 3.5 stars is my rating for this fight. I really enjoyed it. I loved everything about it. And you know what? I don't care if it's the coup de grace, the coup de cow, or the Cobra Kai. If you're a fan of the Karate Kid movies, either way, victory nonetheless for the Hardy Boys and for Finn Balor. That Balor boy, I definitely loved what I saw. So nothing more to say. Brother Moore, Brother Nero, or my boy Grim from Grim Toy Show would say Brother Weiro. Another inside joke. You're gonna have to find YouTube for that. But nothing more to say. Mad props and mad love. Mike Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Oh boy, I don't even know how the heck am I gonna follow that, but yeah, I'm gonna give it 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star here. I mean, this was definitely a very good way to start off the matches portion of Monday Night Raw, and I agree with Fletch. I mean, most of these 6-man tag team matches, you kind of feel a little nervous that there's probably going to be a little bit of clunkiness, but no, I mean, this was good all the way. I mean, yeah, you had that commercial, but even after the commercial, I thought the flow of the match was still good for what it was. And yeah, so nice win for Finn Balor and the Hardys. And let's just say Finn Balor and the Hardys, they deleted those obsolete mules. And yeah, so there's really nothing more for me to say. Dee Woodson, I give it to you. And don't forget, and there it is. What happens when yes, the Hardys, Finn Balor won, but the Hardys won. And you know what that means?
What does it mean?
Saute green beans for everyone. Yes.
Do you know how much I hate sauteed green beans?
I think Fletcher will only take regular green beans and not the sauteed ones.
I don't take green beans, period. Tacos for everyone. Yes.
Well, in that picture, as you can barely see there's some peas and carrots. We'll give those over to Fletcher, and the rest of us will eat the green beans.
Oh, forget you.
Oh, man.
Oh, yes.
Well, he has at least one person in his corner on that. My youngest doesn't really care for green beans either, so. Anyway, getting back to the subject at hand. It was a good tag team match, nice energy. It definitely kept the crowd interested. I guess you can say it was building 2 pay-per-view matches at one time. But I think I'm going to go with the 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star for the match, because it was a very good and very entertaining match, and love seeing these guys work together the way they did. So not much more I have to say. So Florio, it's yours.
Green beans for everyone. Yes, indeed. Well, nothing more to say on this except I'm with the majority here. 3 to 3.5, no doubt about it. That's the rating here. Good tag match with a nice energy, and they kept the crowd interested throughout. It also built 2 matches for the pay-per-view, which is appreciated. We're obviously going to get the Sheamus and Cesaro against the Hardys one more time for the Raw Tag Team Championship. And we're probably also going to get Finn Balor against Elias Samson, the Drifter. And I guess it's something for Finn Balor to do, I guess. I mean, I really wouldn't have Balor against Samson. I mean, even though they're starting to build Samson up, which is good, I just think that a guy of Balor's caliber deserves something a little better. Just my personal opinion, but we'll see. I'll give it a chance. We'll see. But crowd pleasing match to go along with the crowd pleasing opening angle. At that moment, Raw was off to a very good start. Here's hoping that throughout they can maintain it. But of course, what's a ridiculously Raw without a cutout? And of course, I guess we were going to have a match with Goldust against R-Truth, but that never happened. Goldust beat the snot out of R-Truth, and he had this some film operator, cameraman. Okay, yeah, whatever. So we're not really going to get into that. Now we had a very interesting Miz TV segment here. And I know this is a Miz TV segment that Michael Bullock is, I know Bullock for a fact, if we were doing the Raw chat, he probably would have lost his mind over this. And not in a good way. Miz TV, him and Maurice were there. The Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, of course. And his special guests were the Ball family. Lonzo Ball, of course, who was drafted by the Lakers in the NBA draft, the number 2 draft pick for them, the future face of the Lakers, his brother, LaMelo, and, of course, the most controversial gentleman on the planet today, LeVar Ball, who, of course, Michael Bullock has a major gripe with. And I certainly can't blame him for that, especially after that whole Christine Leahy situation a number of weeks ago. And you know what? I know you guys probably don't want to get into it. I mean, if you want to get into it, that's more than fine. But if you don't, I completely understand, because I know LeVar Ball is not welcome around these parts, especially with Michael Bullock. And
oh, don't get me started on him.
I'll take that as,
because I swear I will go off.
Well, let me touch it very briefly. Bullock doesn't have to do it.
Indeed, he's not.
And
yeah,
and you guys don't have to. But let me take this for a spin, and I'm going to be very brief about it.
Fair enough.
I understand why WWE did it. I understand why they did it. Normally, when you have people like LeVar Ball, and, you know, LeVar Ball has created this character, you know, for good or bad, for whatever it's worth, he made himself into a fixture. And sometimes WWE has been notorious for grabbing people and giving them that extra 15 minutes of fame. Now, for me, I got nothing bad about it. Like, at least, and I'm not talking about, I understand why they did what they did. And I kind of get it. You know, his son Lonzo, this is his new home. This is where he's going to be playing at least half of his home games, at least half of the 82-game season coming up in Staples at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. And this is basically, they're giving LeVar that outlet. You kind of knew this was going to happen. You kind of had a feeling that being in LA, they were going to hit that jackpot and try to bring him in. Now, I understand why WWE fans are probably going to flip out about it. IWC fans will flip out about it because this guy is so polarizing and whatnot. And I get it. I mean, Michael Bullock, his criticism for LeVar Ball goes even more deeper than we're letting on. And I'd rather not open that Pandora box tonight, because heaven help us, Bullock jumps in and starts. Because if he goes, hide the women and children. I mean it. So I'm just going to be like this. WWE has always been notorious for trying to be relevant to pop. And really, this guy has made a name for himself. you know, based off his sons and really him being as outspoken as he is. You know, from the chat with Stephen A. Smith on First Take to the infamous interview with Colin Cowherd. And I'm not going to open that because that's really the root of where Michael Bullock's rant is coming from, or the reason why he doesn't want to get into LeVar Ball. Just, just interviews he's made genuinely, either through the media, Bleacher Report, ESPN, Fox Sports, wherever he gets an outlet, he has something to say, and we eat it up. People out there that's going to be like, this guy's an idiot, a buffoon, he should never get the light of day. But because of his sons, Lonzo, and then he's got 2 other sons that are in high school, they're all going to be in that same realm. So WWE realizes, hey, we're in LA, and they kind of poked at it earlier, saying that, with the fact that Apollo Crews and, with the crew, that they were at UCLA, so you knew something was going to go down. You knew something was up. It was on Twitter. It was on all social media that was going to happen. So Titus O'Neil and Apollo Crews and all this stuff. Okay, fine, whatever. It's once again WWE trying to be that pop culture thing, trying to do the cool thing, even though I don't think it was cool. I know the rest of the panel doesn't want to talk about it, so I get it. But it comes to a point where sometimes you start beating the dead horse, and this is starting to be too repetitive, 2 things. Any type of moment that you're trying to jump, you're going to try to cash in. Probably not the best idea, WWE. I mean, especially with the track record of your shows and what you've been doing lately, probably not the best idea. However, I'll commend you for the effort. I'll commend you for at least giving it a shot. But that's all I'm going to give you. Nothing more. Nothing less. Florio, it's all yours.
All right, fair enough. Getting back to the Goldust and R-Truth thing, it was a solid reintroduction of the new/old Goldust. It also keeps the feud going without giving away the bout right away. I'll give him credit for the slow burn there. Why not? And that's all I can say there. I expect that to be added to the Great Balls of Fire card. Maybe that could be the kickoff match for all I know. I don't know. As far as this segment is concerned, I mean, that was something. I'm not sure what, but it was something. And they missed the boat by not involving the Titus brand with LeVar Ball. That would have been better. And it was good on LeVar Ball for getting that free publicity for his brand. And did WWE really pull the plug on that segment because LeVar was all over the place? It seemed to end awkwardly and abruptly. Cole labeled it interesting. It's probably gonna get some love from ESPN, and no real harm was done aside from it being a painful viewing experience for Bullock and myself. But I know MF will give it the benefit of the doubt. So yeah, and I also came across a dirt sheet saying that Stone Cold Steve Austin was reportedly going to be there tonight because they were promoting these LA 316 shirts, and yeah, he didn't show up. And there was a rumor that they were going to have him come in and give LeVar Ball a Stone Cold Stunner, and if he had done that, Michael Bullock would have been doing cartwheels for all I know. So yeah.
Oh, I'd be doing the Daniel Bryan yes chance.
Yep, of course. And
because nobody deserves a stunner more than that dink.
Yeah, okay. So well, we're just going to leave it at that. Let's just move on to our other 6-man tag team match of the evening. Dean Ambrose, Heath Slater, and Rhino against The Miz Taraj, which was The Miz, Curtis Axel, and Bo Dallas. And The Miz Taraj get the win in 12 minutes and 20 seconds. So I believe, Bullock, we started off with you here. So, Bullock, your thoughts on this second six-man tag match of the evening?
Yeah, good thing we moved on to this, because if this dragged on, I swear I would have gone off on the LeVar Ball right away. So, but anyhow, getting into this match, I'll give it about 2.5 stars as my rating on the match. I mean, it was good for what it was. I mean, the Miz Taraj, gets the win here, and something tells me I think we're gonna get a Miz Dean Ambrose match again for the Intercontinental Championship, probably at Great Balls of Fire. So we'll have to wait and see. But 2.5 stars is my rating. Dee Woodson, I give it to you.
Yeah, I agree. About 2.5 stars. It was a solid match, but flat at times. Crowd wasn't into it. So, I mean, it's not something to write home about. But it just continues this dull storyline we have with Miz, Maurice, and Ambrose, and now his entourage that the Miz has. So not much more I'm going to say about it. So Florio, it's yours.
I'm going to give it 2 to 2.5 for the effort. I mean, it was solid as far as the action goes. Certainly not bad, but it was very flat, and the crowd just didn't care. The Miz Ambrose feud will continue, but at least the others got on Raw and have something to do for the first time in a long time, in terms of Slater and Rhino and Axel and Dallas. And the show lost momentum with the Miz TV segment, and you could say they lost even more via the six-man tag. And that's where, this was one of the very few lowlights of this night. But it's gonna get better in just a moment. So 2 to 2.5. That's the best I can go. Not sure how MF feels, but let's find out. MF, this second six-man, how did it feel to you?
I can only give this about 2 stars. I don't think it was really much in the way of anything good or anything solid, to say the very least. I'll give it 2 stars for the effort, but yeah, if you're looking for anything more than that, I'm sorry to say you're not probably gonna get anything else from me. So nothing more to say. Let's move on.
And now we're gonna move on to something much better here. Enzo Amore cuts a promo about what happened last week with Big Cass turning on him. And then Big Cass came out, and we seemingly thought they were going to we thought that they were actually going to reunite, and we were going to get Enzo and Cass back together. But then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, bam, Big Cass with a clothesline on Enzo Amore, turns on him again. Very reminiscent of I know Dee Woodson's supposed to start, but before I give it to you, Dee, I'm just gonna make a quick and valid point here. Did this feel like the PG version of the Rockers, Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty? We all remember, they were having the issues, and then Shawn turned heel, and then they went on the barbershop. Thought they were good. They thought they had patched things up, and they had reunited, and then Shawn kicks him in the face and then rams him through the barbershop glass window. Well, obviously they weren't going to do that in this PG era. Of course not. But we thought they were back together. Bam, Big Cass clotheslines his head off, and then press slams him and then drops him down the ramps. So, whoa. Safe to say the Wrestling Forum's favorite tag team is officially no more now, even though it was official last week. So, Dee Woodson, after seeing all that, I mean, didn't it remind you of Shawn and Marty 25 years ago?
Oh yeah, I actually remember watching that on TV and seeing him go through that. It just memories. And being a young teenager, yet that's not something you want to actually remember, but I do. I remember it, and I remember how much broken glass and blood and everything there was back then. But getting back onto this, it's disheartening to see the team break up, but we all pretty much kind of knew it was going to happen. How long can Cass carry Enzo the way he did? And Enzo did have a lot of emotions going through this. I mean, you could see the tears going down his cheek and everything, and putting his heart out there. But Cass toying around with him his emotions as much as he could, and the backstabbing and backtracking, and it was a good turn for Cass, and now we get to see exactly what he can do as a heel character. This was definitely a good follow up to last week. There's all the fans pretty much was booing Cass at the end there, and and everything, and he kept telling the fans, you want Enzo here, and that's when he tossed him down the ramp. So for me, this was definitely a very, very good segment, and definitely seems like Raw is getting a little bit better with building certain storylines, but only certain storylines. And this is definitely one of the ones that they're definitely building up on. So, and then I think not long after this, we actually had Cass come out and confront Corey Graves for the footage from last week. So that it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, especially now that we have Corey Graves involved, and them bringing up Cass bringing up that he thinks that Graves has something on Angle. So we'll have to really keep an eye on this and see exactly where it goes, what they're up to, and how it plays out. So Florio, what's yours?
We'll get to the Angle stuff when the time is right, and because that's supposedly going to lead to something huge for SummerSlam in 2 months. Believe me, from the dirt sheets that I've read, oh my, if these dirt sheets are true, oh my goodness, that's going to be hella fun at SummerSlam. But we'll get to that soon enough. But as far as this segment is concerned, another one of the segments of the night, very good segment. You can say that Enzo's character came off as gullible, but I felt he came off as emotional and doing his emotional and passionate and doing his best to salvage the friendship. The crowd was with Enzo, and he delivered a good setup promo. Cass did a good job of seeming remorseful before attacking Enzo again. And I enjoyed this just as much as I did last week. I said last week was one of the best heel turns I've seen in a long time. And, well, I was really hoping that it was just a misdirection to get more heat on Cass and to toy with Enzo's emotions, because it would have sucked if they had backtracked after such a great heel turn last week, only to have them get back together. But that was a very good segment and a follow-up to last week. Nothing left to like about Cass if you're an Enzo fan, because he not only turned on him, but he totally Jedi mind tricked him emotionally tonight, and then he tried to kill him. And what we saw tonight was the PG version of the Rockers. Let's just say that for sure, because we knew that they weren't going to have Big Cass ram Enzo through a plate glass window. No way. Just like Shawn did to Marty 25 years ago. But no. This was basically, like I said, the PG version of it, with Cass picking him up in the press slam position and then throwing him down the ramp, tossing him down the ramp like a sack of manure, and then walking away. So, and WWE's Twitter feed said, at Big Cass, WWE just literally bowled a strike with that real one, #Raw. Oh yeah, that was definitely bowling a strike. That was a perfect strike. So I thought it couldn't get any better than that heel turn last week. It did. that was basically the PG version of the Rockers 25 years later. Well done. Cass is on his way, man. He's on his way. They're going to rocket pack him. And I think within a year or so, he's going to have gold around his waist. Simple as that. I believe him. He's got potential. He's the star of the future. I believe it. So, with that being said, MF, I mean, basically the PG version of the Rockers 25 years ago, I think.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Definitely the PG version of the Rockers 25 years ago. I remember that very, very vividly. And yeah, it was a shocking moment. It was one of those that it left us all talking about it since that day. And a lot of people are like, oh my God, what do we do? You know, what on earth happened in the whole 9 yards? But, you know, sometimes that happens and is that good. And with everything that happened last week, a lot of people felt for Enzo, even me. I'll even admit it, I'm a big Enzo Amore. I love his shtick. I love his mic work. I love what he brings to the table. Yes, I know a lot of people don't like him wrestling-wise, but the best talker in WWE, one of the best talkers. Cass is the wrestler. He is that brute force. He is a strong dude. He's one that's going to mess you up and hurt you. And I love that combination. For Enzo last week, man, I mean, that was tough to watch, even for me. To see Cass ripping into Enzo, doing what he was saying that happened in the past, my heart broke for Enzo Amore. And you saw that emotional side of Enzo. And a lot of people were saying that Enzo deserved an Academy Award last week for his emotion, you know, the way that he portrayed. And I'm going to tell you this, as great as Big Cass was cutting promo-wise, which I thought was his personal best, Enzo, a sympathetic figure, and was again tonight, that without a doubt, just promo-wise, this feud has exploded into one of the best works that I've ever seen in a very long time. The heartbreak, the emotion of Enzo, because like he said, this was like a brother to him. They were up and down the road for almost how many years? About 7 years together through the WWE, making their way to becoming that top tier team and the most over team in WWE history. And Big Cass, with the anger, the fire, saying, you know, even he said it last week, you're the one who held me down. You're the reason why we've never been champions in WWE or in NXT. I'm the brass ring guy. I want to be that man, and I want to be that guy. So for me, it is like Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty all over again. Shawn had the talent. Shawn was the face of the Rockers. Marty was the mouthpiece. He just was a linguist when it came to cutting promos. He knew how to do it. In Enzo and Cass. And that's why I see coming to life all over again. So it's like they're trying to recycle storylines that they try to do. Think about it. The big reveal was similar to Shawn and Triple H 2002. Then tonight, we just saw, like you said, 1989, 1990 Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty. What are we going to get next? It seems like WWE went back into the archives to bring back some of these storylines to life and is now feeding it to us fans. A lot of us who probably were around it was one of those things where unless you were there all those years ago who saw that storylines, you know how it played out. If you're seeing this for the first time, like especially the millennials, and I'll call them that because that's what it is, but the millennials have never seen this. True for them, but for us, we've seen this before. We saw this once before. So to rehash it, to bring it back, it's like, whoa. But it gets us thinking of that old days. But when you do it in a way that delivers us to that glory of WWE, and especially that particular moment that Anthony is alluding to, that is few and far in between. And that's something, sometimes they say you can catch lightning in a bottle once and only once. Tonight, they made us think about that time. And very rare, and that's very rare, where professional wrestling can make us think about the past, getting to the present, and looking forward to the future. This brought it all full circle tonight. At least for, I hope all four of us can at least agree on that. Michael Bullock, is all yours.
Whew. I don't even know how to follow that, but yeah, this is definitely another one of the segments of the night, and yeah, it just had that feeling of from the Rockers back in the early '90s when they imploded, when they had their problems, and Shawn finally turned on them, and this has that same feeling, and I couldn't help but feel bad for Enzo Amore. I mean, because you could see the emotion coming out of him when he heard those hurtful things, and when Big Cass said that they are through. But this was Cass saying, "Look, I'm the star. I'm the big guy here, and you've been holding me down for all these years. Well, now I'm finally breaking out of it." And tonight, I mean, we saw Enzo wondering, "Why, Big Cass? Why did you do this to me?" And then it just looked like that maybe they were going to get back together, but it was all a setup, and Cass just basically just attacked him again, and boy, he really beat the crap out of him. And I know some people are saying, "Oh, Enzo Amore deserved it," but because he's so annoying. I mean, but the thing is, he's a damn good talker. I'll say that. But all in all, this was another great segment here. Who knows? I think this could lead to an Enzo and Cass match, maybe at the Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view. But we'll have to wait and see. So another one of the segments of the night. So yeah, so I'm just going to toss it to Anthony now as we move on.
And if we had done the commentary, I mean, I definitely would have channeled the Rock, the Gorilla and Bobby commentary when Cass clotheslined Enzo. We would have done and then maybe MF or something could have said, "Oh, I knew he was going to do that. I just
Are you crazy?
Yeah, what a despicable act that was.
What a despicable act by Big Cass.
Yeah, he never needed Enzo. Yeah. And then when he threw him down to the ramp, then we would do our no.
They were like brothers.
Yeah, no.
No.
Oh my God. So that's it. Nothing more to say there. Just a train of thought. Let's just move on.
And it not only hurts them, but it hurts you and me, Florio, because we used to like doing that shtick.
Of course.
So it's like, damn you, Big Cass. Why did you have to ruin it for us?
Well, I guess. Yeah, it was WWE, and I'll say this. Go ahead, Florio.
Probably Vinnie Mac and Kevin Dunn. Go ahead and get your train of thought out.
Well, I don't know if it was Vinnie Mac and Kevin Dunn. It's possible it was them, but if you really think about it, normally tag team like this don't last forever, and sometimes
Look at Gargano in
unity,
Tampa. Look at Gargano in Tampa. DIY.
Mm-hmm.
DIY, the natural disasters. They were two original teams. I mean, you're gonna expect that. Normally, the shelf life of a tag team is very rare. You don't get a Demolition. You don't get a Bushwhackers where they're together the entire way. Sometimes there are those teams that once it gets to a part that it's better if they break apart. I mean, look at what happened with Strike Force in 1989, Anthony.
Exactly.
I mean, you know, Strike Force, the Rockers. You know, there are moments in wrestling where sometimes, against the best judgment, they break up. And it's just, you can only hope for the best, but a lot of times when they break up, it ends up being the worst. Hopefully I'm wrong about that, but that's just my train of thought.
Okay, let's move on now. Then we had another cutout here. Seth Rollins against Kurt Hawkins. Seth Rollins won that in roughly 3 minutes. It was a no rating to a dud, of course. The good news for Hawkins is that he didn't have to work that pesky 6-minute main event bout, losing in half the time for the same pay in front of more people. Good for him. All right. And then Bray Wyatt, came out. Well, he appeared on the Titantron, kind of another one of his creepy promos. So that was it. So, and it is official. Seth Rollins, Bray Wyatt, they'll go one-on-one at Great Balls of Fire. Common knowledge. We already knew that was going to happen. So they made it official, basically. And now we move on to what was one of the big segments of the night here. This was hyped a week in advance. We had Paul Heyman introducing his client, the Universal Champion Brock Lesnar. And as Lesnar was about to make his way to the ring to call out Samoa Joe shows up and locks in the Coquina clutch on Brock Lesnar. And he wouldn't even let go of that sucker until the Revival and the Club had to come in and basically pull Joe off of Lesnar. Joe was like a piranha on a pork chop, for goodness sakes. My Lord, but there were a lot of great segments on this show, but for me, I got to say this was the segment of the night. That was great. So far, they are doing everything right in building up Samoa Joe, and it's been awesome. I mean, Heyman doing his money promo, of course. I mean, that's automatic. And then no one turns beat red quite like Brock Lesnar. I mean, that was another phenomenal segment with Joe and Lesnar as they showed that Brock would be vulnerable to the Coquina clutch. So, man, he sold that thing unbelievably. So, props to Lesnar, man. Say what you want about him, hybrid, the best hibernator in the world, but he sold that thing like a champ. Let me tell you that right now. And say what you want about the match, but I'll say like this. I mean, it's getting us more and more excited. I mean, our excitement levels for this Universal Championship bout is going sky high now. And it's got potential to be perhaps the fight of the night. No question about it. So, and not only that, but as I've been saying on this show for weeks and weeks now, for basically almost the last month or so, I've been saying that it will go down as perhaps the greatest Be a Man fight of all time. And the last 2 times we've seen these two guys get together, I strongly believe it will be it's not going to be one of the greatest Be a Man fights. No, this will be the greatest Be a Man fight of all time. If they keep giving us build like this, how can it not be? Phenomenal, well done segment of the night. Nothing left to say. MF, Joe's gonna kill you. That's what you always chant. It's what the IWC chants, and they're going after the biggest draw of all. They're going after the Beast, and man, oh man, he put the Beast down tonight. Wow. When was the last time you saw Brock Lesnar take a beating like that, MF? Huh? When was the last time?
It's been ages. It's been ages. I don't think we've ever had anybody do what they did to Lesnar, except I think Jeff Hardy when Jeff Hardy blasted him upside the head with the steel chair and sent Lesnar flying out the ring. I think that's the last time I can ever remember somebody ever doing any type of damage, or maybe that infamous brawl where Taker and Lesnar went at it. I think that's the only other time I can ever think of that where somebody did some kind of damage or something like that. I have no idea. So it was solid. It was amazing. It was awesome. It was as good as it can be. It was solid as it can be. It was powerful as it can be. And it really now gives the WWE Universe and the IWC that feeling that maybe Samoa Joe might be the one, the run to beat Brock Lesnar and become Universal Champion. They have to at least give you that opening. They have to at least give you that desire, that thought, that play, because you never know in wrestling. You know, at any given night, at any given moment, 3 seconds or one tap out can change the world of professional wrestling. So, you know, I love what I saw. It's definitely more fuel to the fire to the match, and now has perked a lot of people's interest. But the thing is this, great promos have been amazing. What I'm concerned about, and I really want to be very legitimate about this. We got a great promo. We've seen a lot of great action up to this point leading to the Universal title fight. I hope and I pray that this delivers. But you know, it's Lesnar. And Joe has been in some great matches. There's been some great battles. There's been some great fights. There's been some great everything. I get it. But what I'm nervous about, is that things could go wrong here. And I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just worried about the match. Worried about the outcome of the match, or the style or the story that they're telling. Because right now it's red hot. I just hope WWE does not drop the ball here, because we do not need another foul up or screw up or a mistake that could have us all ranting on a couple of weeks from now. That's all I'm worried about. It's been amazing. Segment of the night, I'll give you that. But with that said, Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yes, indeed, this was the segment of the night here, and Paul Heyman, I mean, he cuts his usual promo and then brings out the beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar, and looks like Lesnar was going to head to the ring and basically call out Samoa Joe, but Samoa Joe sneaks up and basically locks in the Coquina clutch, and I mean, you basically had to have the Revival and the Club basically come out and basically drag Samoa Joe off of Brock Lesnar. And even as they were dragging him off, you saw Samoa Joe trash talking Brock Lesnar. I mean, he's really showing he doesn't fear Brock Lesnar. He says he's not afraid to go to Suplex City. I mean, could he be the one to dethrone Brock Lesnar? I don't know, but I mean, I still think this is going to be a great Be a Man fight. But I have to agree with Fletch. I mean, I am a little concerned. I mean, we've seen matches get so much hype, and then when it comes to the pay-per-view, what happens? They always seem to drop the ball, because, well, here's one that's a perfect example. Remember going into SummerSlam 2012 when we had Triple H against Brock Lesnar? The feud was so good. The build was so good. But what happened when we finally got to SummerSlam 2012 and it was time for these two to get it on? It literally sucked. I hope WWE doesn't do it again, because if not, I think all four of us are going to go on another rant, just like we did Sunday night on that. Last Sunday night on that on Fletcher's channel, Braves Fan 95, when we recapped Money in the Bank, when we both ranted on the ending of that women's Money in the Bank ladder match. We don't need another one. So WWE, you've been warned. Do not F this up, or else hell is going to be unleashed again, and not in a good way. Segment of the night, Dee Woodson, I give it to you.
Yes, definitely segment of the night. They did show that there was no fear in Joe, and it showed that he can put Brock Lesnar down, because he was just seconds away from going to sleep, and when the guys came out to pull him apart, it was a really great segment and everything. This was one of my points I made earlier in the night, that the show's getting better with the storyline building, and which is what we need. We need this to get us to want to buy the pay-per-view and want to watch the pay-per-view. But at the same time, the guys made a valid point that, they've done this before, where they'll build us to that breaking point and then just pull the rug out from underneath us and, give us a crappy match. But this one has so much potential to be a awesome match if they just let these guys go. They say Joe's going to kill you, and Joe's also the man of 1,000 holds. There's just a lot of different nicknames they've had for Joe over the years, and he's proven that he can put a move on you in just seconds, and that he just when you think you're out of one, he'll put another one on you, and just like a snap. And you never know what to expect out of Joe. There's no way for someone like Brock Lesnar to prepare for a match like this, because Joe's the type of guy who will change his style up, even if it's just slightly, just to get the edge over you. And I'm looking forward to the match. I'm hoping and praying it's going to be exactly what we're expecting, and not one of these letdowns, because as Bullock said, there could be ranting going on again, and we'll just have to make sure, of course, since it's on Anthony's channel, we have to make sure we keep it as clean as possible. But things happen, and hopefully this will be one of those matches that we can say will be one of the matches of the night, and something we'll all look back on and everything. So not much more I have to say about it, so let's go on.
And we have another cutout here. The Cruiserweight champion Adrian Neville against Lince Dorado. Adrian Neville won the match in about 3 minutes. That was a no rating to a dud match as well. Another one of the worst fights of the night, obviously. And it was a fun squash for Neville. Dorado got in some fun stuff. But more importantly, they set up the title match for the pay-per-view. Akira Tozawa, they tease a brawl with him, but then Titus O'Neil interrupts, and then he announces that at Great Balls of Fire, it will be Adrian Neville and Akira Tozawa for the Cruiserweight Championship. So that should be an interesting match. Of course, Titus is going to get involved. Let's not kid ourselves, which I think is a trifle unnecessary, but it is what it is. So now we move on to the main event of the evening, and believe it or not, it was the women who got the main event this time around. It was a gauntlet match, women's gauntlet match. It started with Bayley and Nia Jax, and then you had Mickie James, Dana Brooke, Emma, Sasha Banks. When all was said and done, this gauntlet match, by the way, was to determine the number one contender for Alexa Bliss in the Raw Women's Championship at Great Balls of Fire. Winner of the match in a total time of 28 minutes and 25 seconds to 29 minutes, and the number one contender for the Raw Women's Championship, it's the boss, Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks, she got Nia Jax to tap out to the Banks statement. Whoa, my. And then Sasha got the best of Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss was going to come out and get in Sasha's face, but Sasha wasn't going to have any of it, and Sasha held up the belts. So Great Balls of Fire, Sasha Banks, Alexa Bliss, Raw Women's Championship. MF, is that something you'd be interested in as we started off with you here?
Yes, this is amazing. This was a great way to close the show. During the gauntlet fight, Nia Jax looked amazing. She destroyed practically everybody else in her wake. She beat Bayley. She beat Mickie James. She destroyed Emma. She destroyed Dana Brooke. And then out of everybody else, it's Sasha Banks that gets Nia Jax at the end. I don't know what to say, what to think, what to even believe in my mind. I think with everything that had happened in that match, I kind of feel for Nia because she did so much for that match, and she was, I believe, the MVP of the fight, and she still doesn't break through. I mean, I just don't see what else she could have done at that point. I mean, she really worked her tail off to get to where she was, and to get the opportunity and almost won the whole darn thing. That's a damaging in itself. Now, as far as the play out at the end, oh my goodness. Let me say something to you guys. I'm gonna say something, and I don't think you guys noticed it or saw it or whatever at the end of the fight, but when the fight ended, Kurt Angle came out, congratulated Sasha, raised her hand, the whole 9 yards. Then, yes, Alexa came out, and I don't know what she was saying, but if you could read lips, she said something to Sasha, almost like, I don't know if she was goading her or whatever, but then Sasha drop kicks her, and I saw this, and I read lips. She said it, "My belt, bitch." She went there on Anthony's future ex-wife and threw this into a whole different thing. This went real personal, real fast. This exploded in one foul swoop. When she grabbed that belt, held it high over her head, and then she kind of baited Alexa again. When Alexa tried to get the belt back, and you saw how Sasha snatched the belt as quick as she did. So yeah, this got personal real quick. You got to go back if you go back on Monday Night Raw, you're going to see Sasha grabs the belt and she's going to say the words. And then when she says the biatch part was when she kicked Alexa out of the ring after she hit the drop kick. But you could see lips, "My belt," and then she kicked her, And I think she said biatch on that part too. So I apologize for the language. I'm sorry. PG show should not have said that, but it is personal. It just got real. Michael Bullock, it's all yours.
What was your rating for the fight?
Yeah, so I was about to say.
I'll give it about 3.5 stars. Fight of the night.
I'll actually go 3.5 to 4 is my rating. I mean, this was definitely the fight of the night here, no doubt about it. And yeah, I mean, Nia Jax basically dominated the match. I mean, she was, like you said, the MVP, and to me, I think she deserved. I mean, Nia Jax deserved better, but Sasha Banks got the win and basically was confronted by Alexa Bliss, and basically Sasha Banks wasn't going to be intimidated and said, "You know what? It's my belt, and I'm coming for you, and I'm coming to take that belt from you at Great Balls of Fire." So, yeah. So basically, there's really nothing more to say. So, 3.5 to 4 stars. Fight of the night. Dee Woodson, I give it to you.
Yeah, I'll agree with the rating that Bullock gave. It was definitely a very good gauntlet. I mean, you had Bayley actually coming out there giving quite a bit of offense to Nia Jax, and actually proving a little bit of Bliss being wrong, that she can't be the strong competitor. And she did give Nia a little bit of a running for her money, and so did Mickie James. As far as Dana Brooks and Emma would go, those pretty much were kind of squash matches. And then Sasha came out, and I look at Sasha winning this as, kind of the redemption for all the times that Nia has, did all that damage to her and sent her out with the injuries to her knee and everything. So it was really good to see, somebody actually get over on the big lady here. So, but yeah, I do feel bad for Nia. She did do all that work just to lose in the end, but at the same time, redemption for Sasha for all the damage Nia's done to her for over the years. So,
and let's not forget redemption for herself, because she's been put in feuds which are basically trifling unnecessary.
Yeah, like
that feud with Alicia Fox and the
right. That's what I was
thing with
getting at.
Noam Dar, Alicia Fox, Rich Swann, and Sasha Banks.
I mean, that didn't make any sense.
I mean, there were times I was like saying she deserves way better than this.
That's one of the storyline things I would be bringing up is, there was no point in that. There was no storyline basis other than, them saying that she said something wrong about Alicia Fox or something like that. I don't know. It's the storyline was just really wacky. There wasn't a storyline built to that, where this one was kind of ending a storyline between Nia and Sasha in the end, at the end of this gauntlet. So now we move on to the next chapter, which is Sasha versus Alexa, and that's going to be a very interesting match, because neither one of them will. I don't see either one of them backing down from the other one. So, not much more I'm going to say on it. So, Florio, it's yours.
I'll make it unanimous. 3.5 to 4 stars. Fight of the night. For the better part of the last month, the Raw women have been, have been a cluster bleep. If I'm gonna say so myself. I mean, god-awful matches, equally god-awful segments. I mean, from that god-awful "This Is Your Life" segment to several other god-awful matches, and basically having no direction. The Raw Women's Division needed a shot in the arm, and tonight they finally got it. And I honestly did not expect the women to be in the main event, tonight. If anybody had told me beforehand that this was the plan, I would have called you all crazy. I would have said, hey, the Raw women are too cold to put in this spot. And perhaps that's why WWE didn't hype this as the show's main event beforehand. However, it worked out really well in that it showcased Sasha Banks and her title match with Alexa Bliss really well. Nia Jax gained something from this, also by going bell to bell, as she has the obvious out of going through 4 of the women before Sasha even had to enter the match. And I am thrilled to see the women not only main event, but to get so much time and to have it be presented as important and a big deal as they built to the next women's title match. Bayley going out first was fine there. And based on her run, then we're going to go back to her. And with the Banks win, they can build her up as their. I still think it could be. They can still get to Sasha and Bayley for SummerSlam. They can still get there. They really can. And I thought the booking of Jax was really strong. She looked dominant, and the crowd really got into her act for the first time. And at the end of the day, it was a very good main event with a better plan than overall execution. So, yeah, for the first time in a long time, that the Raw Women's Division, like I said, they needed a shot in the arm. And tonight, after the last month of god-awful segments and god-awful matches, we finally got that shot in the arm for the Raw Women's Division. They're probably not going to keep it up, but you never know. Hopefully this is the start of some bigger and better things for the Raw Women's Division, because the SmackDown Live Women's Division are a cut above the rest right now, especially with what they got going on tomorrow night on SmackDown Live. So that's all I can say there. 3.5 to 4. No doubt about this. This was the fight of the night. Absolutely. Well done. WWE, finally. That's how you book the women's division. Finally, the Raw Women's Division get their moment. Took a while, but finally. That's all I can say. So hopefully we can keep it up. I still have no confidence, but we'll see what happens. So, all right. Overall review time. And Bullock, let's start it off with you here. Another very good show tonight.
Yeah, this was another very good show. So much so, I'm gonna give this about 8 out of 10 for my overall review. I mean, you had a lot of good things. I mean, you had the segments with, of course, Roman Reigns and being attacked by Braun Strowman, the Enzo and Cass segment, the Brock Lesnar and Samoa Joe. You had some good matches here, but of course, I mean, you did have some cutouts, but other than that, I thought this was a really good show. So 8 out of 10 is my rating. So yeah, Raw with 2 back-to-back shows, that especially after the worst Monday Night Raw of 2017 from a couple of weeks ago. So Raw's on a little bit of a rebound. So yeah, good work, you guys. Keep up the effort. And now, of course, it's up to SmackDown Live to show what they got. And boy, they definitely got it tomorrow night. And of course, Florio will set it all up when we have him do his shout outs and the setup later on. So 8 out of 10 is my rating. Dee Woodson, I give it to you.
Yeah, I'll agree. 8 out of 10. It was a really good show. Yeah, there was some low points, but they definitely are getting better about building storylines, getting better about building matches and making it worth the while and to actually look forward to the pay-per-views. And, I'm really curious, how the go-home show is going to be this time. I'm hoping it'll be a lot better than the last few go-home shows we've watched where they've been let down. So hopefully let's hope that we get a really good show, something that will really knock this home, drive it home that that this pay-per-view is going to be worth the money that especially the people who don't have WWE Network are paying for these pay-per-views, because I know they can be awful expensive. So not much more I have to say about it. So I guess I'll see you tomorrow night. Night, guys.
All right, night, Dee Dee, and also we'll also make sure we send out a very special good night indeed to our official mascot of the Wrestling Forum, Callie the Wonder Cat. So, looking cute as can be. So, yes, indeed. So, I agree with the most part for the rating, 8 out of 10. Very good show with strong hype for the women's title match, Lesnar and Joe, and Strowman versus Reigns for Great Balls of Fire. Really solid episode of Raw with a lot of the usual filler cut out, yes, but a lot of focus on building the matches for Great Balls of Fire. Among the highlights, of course, Braun Strowman tossing Roman Reigns into the ambulance, Samoa Joe choking out Brock Lesnar with the Coquina clutch, and then some quality matches. And the women's division finally get their moment after a month's worth of god-awful matches and segments. And they finally got the women on the right track again. And you've set up something very special for Great Balls of Fire. Sasha and Alexa's got potential to be something really good. We thought Alexa and Bayley was going to be good, but it ended up sucking. So hopefully this will be much better. I had a good feeling it could be. And yeah, and then you throw in that great 6-man with the Hardys and Finn Balor against Samson, Sheamus, and Cesaro. Yeah, we had a few cutouts, but we had some very good in-ring segments. The Roman and Strowman segment, amazing. Lesnar and Joe, Enzo and Cass. Let's not forget about that segment. I mean, that was really good as well. But the show's steal of the night, no doubt about it. It was the women, especially Nia Jax. Nia Jax, like MF said, was the MVP of that bout. Well done. So really nothing left for me to say here except 8 out of 10. And Phoenix, what are you going to have in store for us next week for the Go Home show? We don't know. We're not going to be reviewing it. I'll explain why later. But for right now, MF, let's get your overall thoughts on what was yet another very good Raw tonight.
Very good show. 8 out of 10 is the rating I would give it. It was amazing. I mean, there was really nothing bad. There was a couple of clunk fights that we're not going to cover about the Miz TV. We'll forget about that. But the rest of the show was solid. I mean, for about 2 hours of Monday Night Raw is actually worth watching. So 1 hour you could just skim through, but the rest of it was amazing. Loved it. Nothing more to say. So yeah, time for the Tony take. Anthony Floyo, it is all yours, my friend.
Yes, indeed. And if I would, and to put the Raw issue to bed here, I recommend pretty much the whole show. I mean, the only things I say skip are the Rollins and Hawkins fight, the Neville and Dorado fight, and of course the Miz TV segment with the Ball family. Unless you want to see LeVar Ball make an ass out of himself again. So that's all I can say there. So that's it. Now let's move on. Tony's take time. You know how we do it. 205 Live and Impact Wrestling, and another very good week of 205 Live. And let's start it off. The premier athlete Tony Nese squaring off against the gentleman Jack Gallagher, and Tony Nese actually wins the match in 5 minutes and 5 seconds. Sorry, Bullock, your boy Gallagher takes the loss here. 2-star match. It was okay, but I was hoping for more from these two. Nese picks up the sneaky win, playing off of Gallagher being too much of a gentleman to attack and likely setting up a rematch down the road. Mustafa Ali squaring off against Drew Gulak. Mustafa Ali wins the match 5 minutes and 13 seconds. 2.5 stars. Pretty average outing overall, with Ali overcoming and beating Gulak at his own game, which I liked. The feud will likely continue. And then the main event of the evening, Cruiserweight champion Adrian Neville squaring off against Rich Swann. Adrian Neville wins the match, 10 minutes and 40 seconds. Fight of the night, 3.5 stars. Overall, very good main event with Neville continuing to be awesome as the vicious champion that is not only looking to set his dominance, but to also wipe out the entire division as he does so. Swan is such a great babyface and played off of Neville really well and even got some near falls that the fans believed in. So that's all I can say there. Overall thoughts on this, I'm going to give it a solid 7 out of 10. It featured this past week's show featured a solid undercard, some solid angle advancement, and the continued build to Neville and Tozawa, and a very good main event. So solid 7 out of 10 is my rating for this. And now we move on to Impact Wrestling, and hey, we actually started off with a match for once, which is great. Always welcome. It was a Sony 6 elimination matchup. Trevor Lee, Davey Richards, Suicide, Braxton Sutter, Eddie Edwards, Matt Sydal. The final two were Matt Sydal and Trevor Lee. But when all was said and done, the winner in a total of 19 minutes. And Meth, you're going to like this. Matt Sydal, alias Evan Airborne, he gets the win. Fight of the night. Hands down, this was the fight of the night. 3.25 stars. I love that we started with a match, and I also love that it got a lot of time, and love that the X Division was featured. I also love that Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards didn't give a damn about winning, and were instead consumed with killing each other. Very good match to start the show. So that's all I can say there. And then we had a Knockouts tag team match. Laurel Van Ness and Sienna against Ali and Rosemary. Laurel Van Ness and Sienna actually get the win. 2 minutes and 3 seconds. Worst fight of the night. No rating to a dud. They hyped it as Rosemary's first loss, which made it feel even more anticlimactic. They did it to try and get some heat on Sienna, but it felt really flat. Sorry. And then it was the celebration. Sanjay Dutt, of course, Sanjay Dutt, the week before, finally got his moment and won the X Division Championship in that solid but not overly spectacular match with Low Ki. Low Ki would come out, but Low Ki turned on him and basically turned heel. And it was announced that at Slammiversary, Sanjay Dutt will defend the X Division title against Low Ki in a rematch. Intercontinental rules, friends. 2 out of 3 falls. This was a good segment to set up the rematch for Slammiversary and to get some heat on Low Ki. Unfortunately, people will crap on it since WWE did a celebration with Jinder Mahal last month, of course, when Jinder Mahal won the WWE Championship. So, KM against Mahabali Shera. Mahabali Shera wins the match, 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Another no rating to a dud. Perfectly fine segment to portray Shera as a hero in front of the Indian crowd, done against a guy that's only around to lose. I felt that they ruined with the post-match, so. And then Eli Drake and Chris Adonis make their way to the ring, and they challenge Moose to a tag team match if Moose can find a partner. And Moose has a partner. Former Carolina Panther and Pittsburgh Steelers running back D'Angelo Williams is going to team with Moose against Eli Drake and Chris Adonis at Slammiversary. Solid segment to set up the pay-per-view match. I have no issue with them bringing in Williams. Hopefully they get good media attention, and some football players do really well in wrestling, especially when they are big fans. I just wish the booking was such that I cared one little bit about Drake and Adonis, which I don't, honestly. And then the main event of the evening, tag team match. Global Force Wrestling Heavyweight Champion Alberto El Patron and the Cowboy James Storm against TNA World Heavyweight Champion Bobby Lashley and Ethan Carter III. Alberto El Patron and James Storm win the match, 18 minutes and 6 seconds via disqualification. Second best fight of the night, 2 3/4 stars. Pretty good match overall that just never really got into a higher gear. I'm more than okay with a DQ finish because no one on the match should have lost. Lashley and Patron have the big unification bout, and EC3 or Storm are essentially fighting for the number 1 contender spot at Slammiversary, which will be a strap match, by the way. So my overall thoughts on this, I'm going to give it between 6.25 to 6.5 out of 10. It was a rock solid episode with some solid build of Slammiversary. I was really hoping that things would pick up in the excitement department, because while you can feel that they are building to a pay-per-view, I am just not feeling the excitement or overall sense of urgency that we should have building to one of the biggest shows of the year, which is Slammiversary. And the other, of course, being Bound for Glory in October. So that's all I can say there. 6.25, 6.5 is my rating for that. And now the final Slammiversary show and the final show from Mumbai, India. It will air this week, and here's what we can expect. Matt Sydal and Sanjay Dutt in a tag team match against Low Ki and Trevor Lee. And they're going to have a contract signing for 4 matches on this show. They're going to have a contract signing for Rosemary and Sienna. Of course, that's going to be a women's knockout championship unification match, since Rosemary is the TNA Knockouts champion and Sienna is the Global Force Wrestling women's champion. They're going to unify the titles at Slammiversary. So that's one contract signing. We'll also sign the contract for the first ever intergender mixed tag team Full Metal Mayhem match. Davey Richards and Angelina Love against Eddie and Alicia Edwards. That's going to be a Full Metal Mayhem match. We're also going to sign the contract for Ethan Carter III and James Storm. That will be in a strap match. And then they will finally sign the contract for the main event, of course, the World Heavyweight Championship unification match. TNA World Heavyweight Champion Bobby Lashley, Global Force Wrestling Heavyweight Champion Alberto El Patron. So they'll sign the contract for all of that. Eli Drake and Chris Adonis against a tag team called the Mumbai Cats. Oh yeah, I'm gonna care about that. 6-person mixed tag match: Rosemary, Allie, and Braxton Sutter against KM, Sienna, and Laurel Van Ness. Swoggle against Spud in a Mumbai street fight. Again, nothing to see there. And then in the main event, 8-man tag team match: Alberto El Patron, Eddie Edwards, Mahabali Shera, and James Storm against Bobby Lashley, Ethan Carter III, Congo Kong, and Davey Richards. And that, my friends, is your go-home show for Slammiversary. Of course, Slammiversary will go down on pay-per-view this Sunday night from the Impact Zones. So that's it. That'll put the bow on this very long edition of Ridiculously Raw. We had a lot to say tonight, but definitely a great show tonight. So that's all I can say there. So Ridiculously Raw in the books for this week. Of course, we're going to do our shout-outs now. So Bullock or MF, whoever wants it first, it's yours, guys. Fellas, Bullock or MF, whoever wants to start it off with the shout-outs, it's yours, whoever wants it. Okay, I guess I will. I guess I'll just take it for a spin, I guess. So I'll basically do the shout-outs for everybody here. Special shout-outs to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to make our shows as over as they are. We appreciate it as always. You are the best fans in the world. Enough said. Dee Woodson, Kevin Woodson, and the entire Woodson family. Matt Ward, Jason Hickson-Barr, Daniel Luttrell from the UK. Our other First Ladies, Kaiser Butler, Megan Silva, and Lexi Calloway. Our crew members, Tommy Souza, Eric Carrier, Jimmy Alden, Al Bradison, and Rob Parsons, and the man himself, Derek Ferreira. So interesting future content coming up. Of course, we got Cerebral Smack Talk tomorrow night. MF, do you have a time for that? 10:30. What time for Cerebral Smack Talk tomorrow night? I don't know. I guess both of these guys have. I guess these guys have fallen asleep or something. I guess I don't know. But either 10 or 10:30 tomorrow night, we will have the Cerebral Smack Talk over on MF's channel, Braves Fan 95. Of course, we got a loaded SmackDown Live, the Women's Money in the Bank ladder rematch. Naomi and Lana for the women's title. Baron Corbin against Sami Zayn and the Hype Bros against the Usos in a non-title match. A Mikey's Mindset with Lucha Underground and some other things. And of course, coming up Friday night, we got Strictly Sports. And on the docket for Strictly Sports coming up, we got a loaded docket. I do know that for a fact. Derek Carr signing an extension with the Raiders. Andy Reid staying as Kansas City Chiefs head coach, but John Dorsey's getting fired. Will Paul George get traded? Blake Griffin opting out of his contract with the Clippers. Diana Taurasi becoming the WNBA's all-time leading scorer. We'll recap the NHL awards. We'll give some brief thoughts about Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. We'll give you our early thoughts about Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather, and the return of our MLB Power Rankings. That's Friday night at 10:30 right here on the Tone 25, and I have a major announcement. Next week, there will be no Ridiculously Raw and no Cerebral Smack Talk because of the 4th of July holiday. So we're going to have a week off next week. So we'll get to enjoy Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live as fans, and we don't have to worry about reviewing it. So no Ridiculously Raw and no Cerebral Smack Talk next week. So we're taking the week off, guys. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk over on MF channel, Braves Fan 95, it's the Ridiculously Over Gentleman Anthony Florio here for good old MF Michael Fletcher, for the Phenom Michael Bullock, and of course in spirit the Twisted Angel Didi Woodson, and the Hardcore Pipe Bomb Derek Ferrera. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Tuesday. And until Cerebral Smack Talk tomorrow night on Braves Fan 95, either at 10 or 10:30, you've been watching. 10 p.m. Okay. MF has just confirmed it will be a 10 p.m. start. So that's it. So until 10 o'clock tomorrow night, immediately following SmackDown Live for the Cerebral Smack Talk, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com. And remember, no matter what anyone tells you, wrestling is indeed actually real. Good night, everybody.